What's good, YouTube? Mars Attack or Man's Attack. Lost History Found. I go by the name Pushy Push. You can find a lot of my content over there on TikTok. I talk a lot about Tartaria, the last 1,000 years lost, castles in America. But in this in particular video, I want to talk about Mars Attack. So Hollywood has a unique way of telling the past and making it look cartoonish. And Mars Attack falls into that category right there. Something that I've noticed, the military even works with Hollywood to come up with scripts. So I guess you got to have an open mind when you start to see Hollywood put out messages. So in this movie right here, I felt like it had that type of message inside of it. So I wanted you to look at this creature right here. To most people, Hollywood has sold this to you as an alien, but to me, this doesn't look like an alien. This actually looks like a man without skin. This looks like a skinless being, a person without skin. It doesn't look like an alien. Um, a short man with big head. This looks like a man, literally, like his nose is missing. You can see the veins. You can see the brain on top of the head, like just the skin is gone. And when I look at that right there, it makes me think, like we have several images out there in several movies where they made the identity for an alien to look a specific way. So this one right here with Mars Attack looked totally different than all the other aliens that I saw. So I felt like when I was looking at this, I was looking at a skinless person, like three skinless people uh, with expressions that you could probably see if they had skin on their face. So when I see this, I started thinking, who does this remind me of? Is there anybody that this reminds me of? And this is when I came up with the thought that possibly, do you think Hollywood was talking about Yakub, the big head scientist? This scientist is known for changing man's DNA. So he is, to me, considered to be an adversary towards mankind. He's not in favor. So when I looked at this right here, I said to myself, well, I only know one type of big head being, but could there be a race of big head beings? Um, do they all have to be black? Can they come in assorted colors like we are? Since Yakub is known for changing DNA. So here's a great example right here. He's associated with everything Gnostic, all the religions, all the signs. You know, um, Yakub is definitely interesting, but it is noted that he is one who altered the DNA of man, like possibly changed the black skin to a non-melanated skin. So Yakub is definitely could be a enemy of man. So this picture right here really sets it up because this is Hollywood again. In the 1960s, Star Trek had their own version of Yakub, and this is a non-melanated version of him. You see the necklace right there? He's got the big head. And if you go back, you can see the necklace, big head. You see the big head necklace, all that right there. So this is Hollywood again, possibly 40 years, 50 years before Mars Attack, showing a possibility of a race of people who had big heads. So I'm definitely open to the thought of other people who look like us but could be different than us. I'm definitely open to the thought that we could have went to war with something like this, and maybe they get along, and part of the programming is for us not to get along. But if we jump over right here, this was another influencer. So that influencer felt like um, he was mocking basically the Star Trek picture that I showed you. So it goes the day Yakub aborted the Enterprise. So it's showing you the big head Yakub, and this is the version that they're saying. But regardless, this man is known for altering DNA, and you have Hollywood showing you, this non-melanated version. And for me, I don't get caught up in the race part. I am asking, is there is the overall conversation for them to say that there is another being out there, that there's another group, and man has a bigger adversary than what we've been taught. So when I see that right there, you definitely see the big head and all that right there. And then you're looking at this, and this is why I said quite possibly this could be a big-headed Yakub. He doesn't have skin, so who's to say what race he might be or what color he might be? But the idea of what Hollywood was trying to show, definitely is there. A big-headed person, and is this person here to help or here to hurt? And that history has him changing the DNA, weakening the human body. So I stand with Yakub possibly being a problem. This is where things get interesting though. Because see, Hollywood to me has shown, possibly Yakub, possibly a white and black version of this. It's showing one thing consistent, that there is a being race out there or a group of something out there that is here or has came to attack, to conquer you. And you can believe that it comes from Mars. I don't have It doesn't have to. It can come from beyond the ice wall. This is them in their allegory talking to you. But I want to show this in a different manner, inside of a real world application, like an event that happened that looks similar to this picture with the ships all in the back. So we'll look at this one. You have to look at this very hard because there's so much messaging inside of this. There's so much to look at. But right off bat, it says a UFO in 1665. So there's a battle of Straussland. There's UFOs in the sky. There's a hand coming out of the sky. It's sitting with a cup with eyes on the cup. And the three cups, are spewing water into, all over the place. And could this boat right here be Noah's Ark? You see the hand right there and the apple. I always considered like something was offering like first fruit to something, and if you didn't see those airships, most of us would have came to the conclusion that this is God, and this is him flooding the world, and this is first fruits being offered up. But this picture is sitting with airships, and that changes the whole story right there. And it makes you wonder about the biblical flood. It makes you wonder about all those things when you're seeing an illustration like this from 1665. Like, we're not supposed to know anything about spaceships, or UFOs. And this is the reason why I can go back and look at this. is this Hollywood in its own way trying to tell us some type of subliminal message, you know? I know that we're looking at a cartoonish person, but I feel like I'm looking at something that doesn't have skin, and there's UFOs, and it comes to attack. And if you go here, this looks just like that image. It looks just like it. Let's look a little deeper. As you see right here, there's a name here up at the top. We're going to look at that name right there. But if you look, it's flooding. This looks like the world being flooded. They sit and tell us in the Bible that that happened thousands of years ago. But this is the thing about when we talk about them adding 1,000 years. It's the factor that by adding 1,000 years, you don't know how time has been altered or the stories have been altered. By them adding 1,000 years, it allows them to take something and say that it's 1,000 years old, and it could have been an event that is literally 600 years old. Because that's what this looks like. This looks like the Noah event. This looks like the flood. It has the eyes on the cans coming out on the canisters. It has spaceships. So this goes to another level. You know, looking at this, I thought of some Bible verses. Like there was one where the God of Israel went out ahead while they were fighting the Amorites and basically defeated them. And by the time the Israelites got there, there was hardly anybody to fight. And the Bible would say, well, God defeated them by dropping hailstone to the ground. When you're looking at this right here, and you can remove away, the mysticism. This is what I feel like you're being told in the Bible. It's always been some type of airship, some type of invasion. There's something going on. So with this name right here, these airships right here hold that name right there. So I want to show you an interesting coin. So remember that name right there, that look. This coin right here is one of my favorites out of my collection, because it's the most detailed. It's 1653. If we go back, this is 1665. So this is all in the same area, 1665, and this is 1653. So this is all in the same time period. And I'm showing you airships in the sky, and it looks like they're causing the flood, and there's a name behind it. Where here's the airship with the cloud, like if it cloaks. There's boats, and it sits, and there's a city right here. This city, it's sitting on a star fort. You can see the little edges right here. So this is a city on a star fort with the water, and there's this ship, but there's a name on top of this ship. If we zoom in, you can see that name right there. And that name right there on top of that ship is the name right here in the clouds. So you have all these ships right here, all these ships right here. And then this name right here is illustrated on top of this ship right here. So what I'm showing is all of this is relevant. All of this is relevant. And I go back to this Mars attack. I understand, Hollywood isn't going to tell us anything blatantly. They're going to be subliminal about the things that they tell us. And this is the reason why I look at this right here. I'm like, this is a skinless person. That's an alien ship. When did this invasion happen? Is Hollywood telling me that an invasion happened? And if it's telling me that an invasion happened, again, when did it happen? And this is why I find myself here at 1665. And some of you will say, well, I don't know, man. And this is the reason why I went to that coin. Okay. The name that is on that coin at the top, right here, that name right there, it's at the very top, is on this paper right here. It's on this illustration right here. It's the exact same name. So they put that name on the ship. This is all relevant. And this is an attack. This is an attack. If something's flooding you out to where you're offering your first fruit, the apple right there with the hand coming out of the bowl, you're offering your first fruit. This is showing that you have been attacked. And the date on this, 1665. So we're in the year like 2000. So we're talking about 400, almost 500 years ago. Hollywood can call this right here Mars attack. How come this couldn't be Mars attack? I want to go a little further with this, but this airship right here. This airship is what you're seeing in the sky on this paper. And you say, well, how do you know that that airship is on that coin? You see that name right there. It's written in Yiddish Arabic. Okay. It is the same name that is on top of this ship. Okay. So this is one of the ship you're able to actually see what this ship looked like. You're looking at the ship. This is what it looked like. You're looking at the ship. This is what it looked like. The subliminal gets deeper though. Let's go one more step. Here is that name in the sky, and you see it has a cloud around it and it's illuminating light. It's above the same city. So this is a pillar city and it's in Hamburg, Germany. There's the boats, all that right there. But you see the name, you see the clouds illuminating light. Okay, well, let's go back. You see the name right there? It's also in the clouds. You see this right here? This is a ship that is producing smoke that can cloak so it can look like a cloud. And the name sits inside of the ship. I know that this could be a lot to digest. This is a lot to digest in a small moment like this right here. But this is how deep, Hollywood has hidden a lot of the technology, the information. It's not just Hollywood, it's your government. They've hidden all of this information right here. And us being what they consider children, this is how they tell us a real event. They'll tell us this in the form of Mars attack. They'll put a skinless person and tell you that that's an alien and that this alien came and attacked the world in a comedy where you'll laugh about this and you'll walk away feeling entertained, not knowing that they have shown you the real thing, maybe in a modern time, because they had a scene where they were in Vegas, but to me, this is Mars attack. This is Mars attack. There's a name in the sky, and I'm showing you the ship that's in the sky. That is the ship. And if you say, well, how do you know that is the ship? Well, it sits with the name inside of the ship. And these ships don't come to make peace. You see the hands, and then with the all seeing eyes all over the place of it. This is so subliminal right here. And this looks exactly like Mars attack. This right here is the spaceship in the sky. So this coin right here is a replica of the other coin. The only difference is you don't see a spaceship. There is the name, there is the cloud, it's illuminating light. You can see the pillar cities. It's a star fort itself, Hamburg, Germany, and the boats. Let's flip back. You see that? That's that name right there. That's the ship right there. And there's the clouds. So this ship is cloaking itself, and there's a name for this ship. Well, we go back here to this. The ship now looks like this. There's the name, and then there's the clouds, meaning that the ship is cloaked above the same city. And this thing, there seems to have been some type of world's war or something of that nature. I believe this is how we get to our reset, is because I believe that something from beyond the ice wall, I don't believe in aliens coming from another world. I believe that something from the ice wall came over and we fought it. And I think it won to the point where it flooded the land enough where to restart history and then tell us that this flood event right here was thousands of years ago. And we don't know. We really don't know. We don't even know about this event right here. But I wouldn't have thought nothing of it until I started seeing the things that correlate to it. So when I'm seeing that same name in the cloud on that paper, and then I'm seeing it on a coin, a physical coin, and then it gets wild because they put the name on top of that. That is deep right there. They put that name on top of the ship. That's telling you that this is all together. And that's why I called it Mars attack or man's attack. Is that man in that ship? Is this being right here? Did they just take the skin off? And the truth is, it's some Yukab. Doesn't matter for me if he's black or white. It's big headed people who I believe came over here and possibly conquered, destroyed. Yeah, name in the sky. So I'm saying this ship right here with the name right here is what you're seeing in the sky. And this event seemed to have happened during the 1600s. So 1665, this coin has 1653. It's too relevant. It's all too relevant. The last piece, though, is this one. There's a beams in the sky, and then there's these clouds. But if you look in the back, all the clouds are the spaceships. See, we was just looking at a coin that can cloak itself. We was just looking at a ship with that can cloak itself. We were looking at Yakub that looks like the big-headed alien. We've looked at Star Trek show a non-melanated Yakub also. So now we're down to looking at this image, and I'm saying, what are the people seeing right here? Are those clouds? Are those a bunch of clouds right there? Or are those ships that cloaked itself? Are these some of the beings that are in that ship right there? It could be black, it can be white, it doesn't matter. The factor is this a Mars attack? Is this a man's attack? And what's crazy is this has a look of divinity. Well, when your enemy come and it conquer you, does it make you praise you? Like, does it make you praise like and follow it? So you see this cloud, you see the many clouds behind it, like spaceships. We go back. You see the many spaceships. This is all too relative. You see the spaceship with the name. You see the cloud around it. So this ship cloaks itself. You see the cloud around that same name. My bad. You see the cloud around the same name right there. And you get down here, you know, that's subliminal. And that's the reason why I said it's that Mars attack. Is that man's attack. I don't know if that is aliens. this whole situation could be something that is from beyond the ice wall. So this character right here, you know, some could look at it as in a Hollywood thing, but I don't choose to look at it like that. I believe I'm looking at a skinless person, and I believe that Hollywood is trying to tell you, you know, an invasion that happened, even though when you watch this movie, it will be destroying modern places. So it's destroying modern Vegas. But the subliminal story is that this is probably an event that has happened in the 1500s. That coin said 1653, and the illustration is showing 1665, and it's showing airships. It's showing that name up there. And all that right there is relative. So it does make me question Hollywood, like, are you showing something and you're not being blatant with it? And I don't know if everyone can handle that, you know? So I know this will be definitely a challenge, you know, to anybody who watched this, you know. So definitely subscribe, drop a like, leave a comment. Definitely leave a comment. Let me know what you think. Does this look like a skinless Yakub? You know, are there beings coming from beyond the ice wall here? Have we went through a war and this is the reason why everything is reset? Have we went through several resets through wars that we are not being told of? You know, so thank you, and definitely subscribe. Come.